Hello everyone. In this part we will work on the terrain textures and then finish up our scene, and this is the final look that I got from this particular file. Alright, so let's continue with our work in Blender and work on the mountains. So one thing that we did not finish the last time was the reflection of our water. So if you zoom in and look at your water reflection, this is 100%, but we will add a little bit of blurriness to our water. Okay, and now, so you can see that we have a clear distinguishing nodes for our displacement. This is the water and the foam, and now we are working on the terrain. All right. So here we will bring in the couple of images we will be using for our terrain. So one of them is rock. So I have a few rock textures here. Okay. So this one is there. This one is there. So I use this one here for the rock. And then we will need one for the moss, which is the vegetation. And we will need one for the sand. Okay. So we will see how these are connected. So now we have these two. And then these two will go into the so we'll see this lit area. So if you drag in your rock, you see how the rock looks, and then if you hit Control T, we will tile it multiple times. We don't want any roughness, so we'll make the roughness full. This will be 10. Oh, sorry. We are going to map it 10 times. Okay, so you can see how the rock looks on the terrain. And then we will connect the same rock texture, rock coordinates to the moss as well. And then if you drag the moss onto it, you'll see how the moss looks. Looks like the moss is kind of rough, so moss needs more. So if we make this 2020, and then our rock gets the same, so we'll drag rock, and then we see how the rock is looking. So I think that should be fine. So we'll use 2020. And now we need to mix these two. So we'll go to add, and we're going to look for mix RGB this time. Okay, so one goes here, the other one goes here, and then we have to decide how they mix together. So we're going to add, and actually I'll go to add. I don't remember what it is called. I think it is geometry. And then we're going to add and search for normal. Okay, so the normal will go into normal, and this normal go into, we will add another one, color ramp. Okay, so the color ramp will go here, dot will go into here. Okay, and they will mix together. So to see how they're mixing, what we can do is we can bypass this directly onto here. Okay, you can see how the black and white images look, and then you can drag these around. Okay, and what you need to do is, if you rotate this, you can see here how you can decide which material goes where. So we will go back and put this onto here, and now you can see that the moss, we need a clear distinction between the moss and the rock. Okay, and then this will decide. So we have to visually like go to 0 and we will move the light where the camera is in this area. So we can see from here how the moss can be visible and what looks good. Okay, so this is what is getting visible, and we can see where the moss is and where the rock is. Alright, so that's how this is done. Now we need to bring our sand. So there will be sand and then the moss. So we need another mix shader. So I'll shift D this and add it here, and this will connect, the sand will connect to color 2, and then because this is 2020 and we can use the same numbers, I can connect this here. Okay, and how the sand connects with this will be decided by our beginning node which we used. Shift D. Okay, and then we will bring that up here. And we will connect the sand color to here. Okay, and then again to see how it looks, we'll connect this here. And then we have to bring this closer. Okay, so the sand will be at the bottom, and this has to be really close to each other. Okay. And we need to reverse it. So you can see now we have sand, then the moss, and then the okay. So we have water, then the beach, then the sand, and the moss, and then the rocks. Now what we need is one more thing. We need like a connection between the water and the mountain. Okay, so you can see that here is where the water connects with the land, and we need like a dark area to show that it is wet. So what we can do is duplicate this again, connect it, and instead of mix we will use multiply. There's multiply. Okay, and then we will again copy our this node, and then we can simply put it here, and now we will just connect this here. Okay, and then to see how it looks, I will connect it here again to see how it looks. Okay, and then the multiply node, we need more, so we can clear this heat. So I'll connect this here, and you can see it becoming black, and then you can control the blackness. Okay, so that becomes black, and then it gets like, you get the feeling that that's wet because of the water. And that's pretty much complete our shading node. So you can see that now we have this mountain node here, the water node, the displacement node, and then you can clearly identify which one is which and where they are, right? So to finish this up, we will go and add an environment texture. So go to HDRI Heaven and download some HDRIs. I'm using this one. Okay, so it gets good light into our scene. We can go closer. Okay, so there's the island. The moss, the rocks. You can change the direction of the ripples by working in the, you know where the ripples are now. This is water. There's a glossy shader for the water. These are the ripples. So you can make this change to get the ripples right. I think that looks cool. You can make it more reflective if you want. What we will do is now we will add, we can get rid of that light. We can add a sky. So we can go to add image as plane, and here we'll see, click on track camera and bring a sky image that you like. Okay, and then it can be scaled up. Okay, and then moved it back. Again go to 0 and move it around, and you can see because it is tracking the camera, you can get those skies there. Okay, now what we need is, we will get rid of this principal BSDF, and we will add emission. So color goes in color, emission goes in surface. Okay, and then if you want, you can introduce, you can again go to add image as plane, and then you can bring in a yacht image. Okay, move it around where you want the yacht to be. Go to 1, place it above the water. 7, it has to be here somewhere. 1, Okay, so if you go to the scale, we'll make it much smaller. Okay, and then we have to make sure that it is not somewhere in the ground. Okay, so I think that should be fine. It looks kind of big, so you can make it smaller, 0.1 by 0.1, 1, and then something like that. You can select the camera and then decide how much depth of field you want. So you can control the depth of field. Okay, so maybe this part is in focus. So the yacht and the other things will be out of focus. And then if you go to render output, I'll make it 1280 by 720. Make sure that there is denoising turn on, and then you can render the image. And that's what you will get as your final output. Okay, you can tweak the numbers to make things better, but you get the idea. Alright, thank you very much.